Good day, good people. I'm Dr. Johnny Pierce, but you could just call me Johnny, and this is the Actually Well podcast. And today I am with
Bridget Price.
Now, Bridget and I know each other, but you don't know her unless you've been following her podcast, which is
Love, Sex, and Society.
So I got me a star today. But what do you do, Bridget?
So I'm a hairstylist. I specialize in locks, so I do like natural hair.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's actually how I know Bridget. She's been doing the hair for my daughters for quite some time now, and every now and then I'm in one of the appointments, and we just end up chatting about things. And she told me about her podcast, and at one point in time, he complimented me, was like, "You need to have a podcast." I was like, "Funny enough, I got a couple." And I wanted to get you on. I'm glad that you decided to come on. And I just wanted to learn a little bit about like what you see as a hairstylist when it comes to like people sharing about their mental health, or, how you might even find yourself offering folks guidance from time to time.
I feel like I see a lot. I feel like every time someone comes in, it's something about sitting in a shampoo bowl and they want to release, everything that they're holding in. And sometimes when I see that other people are struggling with their mental health, I might suggest like, go see a therapist. And some people are just against it,
Yeah.
So just kind of like guiding them and explaining to them like why it's important to take care of your mental health. How sometimes I feel like people don't even realize their mental health is being affected.
Right.
So I think it's very important to try to prevent, your mental health from getting worse,
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, when you have people say like, "Nah, I don't think I want to talk to nobody like that," or "I got you," or something like that, what kind of explanations do they have for like why they would want to talk to somebody?
The main one I think is just because they feel like a therapist can't relate, to what they've been through. And I explained to them that's not always true. My father works in mental health, and he's also, lived a life before he got into mental health. So I explained, like, there are people that have been down the same paths as other people that have changed their life and, is committed to like helping people, because they went through it themselves.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. Sometimes people assume because you sit in that chair that, your life has been a certain way. I once had a client, one of my favorite clients, we ended up working together for like 4 or 5 years. It was crazy. But she was going through a process with welfare and the application process and meeting deadlines and this and that. She was going on and on. And I was like, given that the way welfare works, it's always got deadlines. Like, do you do anything to kind of like set up a reminder for yourself or whatever? And she immediately hit me with the, "You wouldn't understand."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, okay." I was like, well, like, don't let the current situation fool you. But when I was a kid growing up, I was not only on welfare, but we played with the funny money. We actually had the money that was different colors.
Yeah.
So like I've been on welfare before as a child, and as recently as grad school,
right.
My first 3 years, I was getting welfare in the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
And she looked like, I was like, yeah, I was sitting at the welfare office with my MacBook Pro, doing homework, waiting on my appointment so I can meet my case manager. And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like, just because you see me, and at the place I was working at the time, like I had to wear a shirt and tie more days than not. Like, just because you see me in a shirt and tie don't mean I ain't been through some things. But I appreciate you feeling like I ain't getting a relationship with that. Hey, thanks, but no, I can relate.
Yeah.
And you better get those deadlines in your phone so you don't miss them.
Right. Yeah. I think people just want to feel. I think when you can relate with someone, it's like a connection and allows them to put this guard down.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's what people are really, and I think people had this notion that I feel like seeing a therapist is like, I don't know, someone, I explain to them, you can choose a man, a woman, someone of a different race, whatever you choose, same with religious beliefs. But yeah, I think it's just them feeling like the person is not going to truly understand them, and I think it's just a fear of like being vulnerable with someone
and being judged. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Oh, if I tell them about this, they're gonna think I'm this. They're gonna think I'm that. You have no idea what that person sitting in the seat might be sitting with. Because I'm telling you, I went to grad school and I'd heard some stories. But that said, it's very common in our community, especially for people to use their hair care specialist to be the person that they kind of let stuff off on. And I'm sure you've heard some crazy stories. But what about yourself? Have you had anything in terms of a wellness journey? Do you ever like use that as a reference point to try to help the folks who are talking to you about things?
Yeah. I feel like I definitely, I'm big on mental health. I have always had like anxiety since a young girl.
No way.
Had anxiety.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. anxiety attacks and stuff. So I feel like where some people, I feel like anxiety and things like that start affecting them at different ages. Sometimes it's in adulthood. So I think like the fact that I've dealt with it my entire life, you know, and I've understood the things I had to do to like, you know, get better. I basically use that to try to like, you know, help people. But I definitely like take my mental health serious. So it's like I'll work out. I talk to a therapist every 2 weeks. And, you know, just try not to consume any like substances, you know,
that's
like,
a big one right
especially
there.
Like alcohol. Yeah, you know, I don't use any other substances, but like, you know, sometimes I'll indulge with alcohol. But I notice when I drink alcohol, my mental health isn't really good, you know?
Yeah.
So that journaling, praying, you know, just doing anything to keep my mind in a good place, you know, making sure I get good sleep, you know.
See, look, y'all, look, I'm not paying folks to talk about this in every single podcast.
Yeah.
Like sleep really does matter.
Yeah.
I didn't just do an episode about sleep for fun.
Yeah.
Everybody's talked about sleep because this has come up with a number of people I've interviewed where people are just highlighting like that is such a crucial part of them being able to like function.
Yeah. Yes. Like if I don't get good sleep, the next day I'm like I got an attitude, you know, I'm irritated, you know.
With an attitude,
yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I always got an attitude.
It's gonna be a long day for other people.
Yeah, but you know, I think, and that's something that's been really important to me this year, like is prioritizing my sleep quality. I'm like, I was not getting good sleep. I'm up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, you know. But you realize like when you do get good sleep, you're in a better mood. You have a lot of energy, you know, and you can really show up and
you can deal with things better. So something comes up in the middle of the day, like you got enough energy for like, oh, I wasn't expecting that hiccup right there, but I can handle it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned journaling, and journaling is something that I have the hardest time getting people to do. Like people, men, women, and children, like, it's like, you want me to write stuff down or you want me to type something out or can I just like do a voice thing in my phone? And I'm like, it's something different about the writing process. Like you get to like dump whatever's on your mind. And because it's there, you can, if you want to, go back and look at it later, see what's going on with it and realize like, oh, okay, well, no, now that I'm looking at this a second time, I can deal with it this way. Or, you know what, that's actually not that big of a deal now that I gave myself a chance to think about it.
Right.
But what have you seen with your own journaling process?
Just, I feel like if it's something that I feel like, you know, maybe it's an issue in my life, maybe I try to talk to someone and I feel like I can't get through to them, I might just write it out instead of, you know, just to release it. You know, I think people hold so much stuff in, and I feel like journaling is a way to just release it from your body so it's not consuming you.
Right.
You know, you're not consistently being upset about something. You're like, okay, I wrote it down and I'm letting it go, you know, so it's really just that.
There's power in the word. So like you can write somebody a letter. Like say you can't talk to them about it and you don't want to do the email thing. You don't want to try to text the feelings out, but you write them a letter, which a session I had yesterday, we were talking about how that's like a lost art. Like many people just won't know the joy of receiving a letter from somebody or sending one to somebody. But like in the letter, you can go ahead and say it all without worrying about being interrupted or, you know, maybe the heat of the moment. Like, no, I had a chance to sit down, think about this. I was in a still place and now I'm letting it out. Right. And this is what's really on my heart. And it might even invite that other person, be like, you know what, I'm gonna write them back. And now we've got this communication line open that's not the typical one that we would have because I'm not yelling at you. You're not yelling at me. We're not screaming at each other.
Right. Yeah.
But to pivot from that, your podcast is wild. Your podcast is wild. I remember when you told me you had a podcast. I was like, all right, I'm going to check it out. And I'll put it like this. Kids might be able to watch my podcast. They might find it boring in the mug. But like, look, Bridget's podcast is for the adults.
So nothing off topic.
What's the story behind your pod?
I mean, it's a lot behind it. So initially it was Don's podcast. He was doing it initially with like 2 other people and then it was just him. And so I met him through a mutual friend of ours and we were like, you know, we were drinking and stuff and I don't remember what he said something to me and I just did not agree, you know. So,
you wasn't with it.
Yeah. And I'm the type of person that like, if I don't agree with something, I'm not going to go with it, you know. So he just liked that, you know, I gave him like pushback, you know, he like, I really would like to have you on my podcast, So
I'm not the only one that thought it would be a good idea.
Yeah, so basically that's how we got started. Initially it was like based around sex, because it was initially called something else. But I told him that before I did it, I'm like, I don't want to just talk about that. If I do a podcast, I want to talk about like everything, So yeah, that's how we basically got started. And now I think it's just like, love, sex, and society. So we try to talk about relationships, mental health things in society. Sometimes, stuff that involves sex, but just things that I feel like can give people different perspectives, on those things.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say this to my audience, like, I may not have tackled any of these things yet, but please believe, like, I think it's perfectly normal and healthy for adults to have meaningful conversations about sex. You guys talk about dating. I was looking at your last one about how you guys love, like, how do people love people? And like, what are we doing? Like, are we just using people? And these are conversations that are happening on social media. They're happening in salons. They're happening wherever people gather. It's just that, like, sometimes we don't want to actually talk about it and have it where people can watch it later. And it's like, no, we need to actually do that, because these ideas about how we do stuff, the notion that women are only using men for meals and resources, and men are only using women for sex, like, that's as old as time, but it's got magnified now because, I mean, look at what people are broadcasting.
Right.
You open up Instagram any day and it's a guy putting a woman on blast. She got me here. She done ordered 15 entrees and she ain't even gonna come back to the cut. And it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. And you also got the ladies out there. I asked him to send me something on my Cash App and he can't send me nothing, but he trying to come through tonight. Like, what are we doing? So I'm thankful that your pod exists. So you can put it out there. People can talk about it. I'm sure. Like, I looked at how many subscribers y'all got.
Thank you.
One day I'll get on that level.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing that you built there. And if you haven't heard about it already, check it out. It's Love, Sex, and Society, and it's all one word. So when you look it up on YouTube or you look it up wherever you get your podcast, like, that's the way you want to look for it, and it's worth a watch. It is very entertaining, to say the least.
Thank you.
But to bring us to a close, because I know you're a busy woman, and I know today's a busy day, because, I mean, I'm lucky I got this time. What, if any, impact do you feel like your identities have had on shaping you into the woman that you are today? Because it is for Women's Mental Health Month, and I'm doing all this.
I think the impact is just, I think who I try to be every day is what I didn't receive as a child.
Really?
And I think even if that means, like, because I feel like even adults are, we all have that child inside of us,
no doubt.
And some of us have those child wounds that never healed. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just, taking the things that I learned throughout life as I get older and try to help whoever I can, and just be what I always needed, to everyone around me, whether it's the children or, my clients or,
You like taking care of people.
I do. I'm a nurser at fault, so yeah.
Hey, it's a beautiful thing to have about you. It's a beautiful quality to have as a person.
Thank you.
Is there anything coming up with you, like, in terms of any events that you're doing, anything that you're trying to, like, make happen on social media, any personal goals that you got going on that you, like, excited about, want to share?
No, I think just, progressing with the podcast, just continuing to, like, try to grow my business, Yeah, I can't think of any other, just be my best self. I think every day I just try to wake up and try to get better at everything,
Dig it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't plug the podcast. Keep in mind, I happen to be in Maryland today. I know I'm a Virginia-based therapist. I'm fortunate that my kiddos go to school in Maryland, and that's how we end up in Maryland to get their hair done by Bridget. But where are you? Where can people find you if they want to find you online, if they want to reach out to you for an appointment? Like, how do they reach you?
So my hair salon is located in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and my hairstylist my hair Instagram page is Bridget Priceless Natural Beauty Bar.
Oh, we're gonna have it like right here. Like, it's gonna be like right here when the edit is done.
Yeah. And then I'm LoveSexandSociety Society on Instagram with the podcast, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, make sure you go follow. I have links in the description so that you can go ahead and just click on them and go right there. And thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you fitting me in. And heck, I'm going to be here next Thursday when my oldest get her hair done. So we're going to get to kick it some more. But thank you for watching again. Again, this is just another interview that I'm fortunate to do with an amazing lady who's doing great things. And this month that I'll be releasing it in May is Women's Mental Health Month. And if you know any ladies who are in hair care, in, mental health and nursing, whatever they might be doing, like, this might be a good month to ask them, hey, you need a hug? Hey, you want to talk for a second? Because so often they're so busy taking care of everybody else that nobody really thinks to check in on them and see how they're doing. But they support us. We got to be able to support them too. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this series. Yeah. But please remember to click like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, comment. If you haven't been commenting, I want to hear what you got to say. And if you need your hair done, she's your woman. But please be well.